It might be hard for Canadians to wrap their heads around that, how a person could have some of those beliefs and values and then decide in conversations that she's willing to accept what you call liberal values going forward.
Well, look, Ms. Gladue is also known, I think you're selling her a bit short.
Rosie. It's all made up.
Just because it's all made up anyway.
Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. We're going to jump over to CBC News and watch CBC journalist, hack reporter Rosemary Barton interview hack Stephen McKinnon, who's the House Leader of the Liberals. He's a lot to handle. Let's take a peek. Ooh, man, he's a bum. So's Rosie. Do your job.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. The Liberal Party is on the brink of securing a majority government. The Liberals will have that chance tomorrow night when Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will be put to the test in 3 by-elections. The Liberals need to win just one of those races to clinch that majority. The magic number there, 172. Carney rallied supporters at the Liberal convention this weekend ahead of those critical by-elections.
Listen to this.
This is not the time for politics as usual, for petty differences, for political point scoring. United, we will build Canada strong. A Canada for all, a Canada strong that no one can ever take away.
I'm sure. Applauding himself.
The Liberals raised their seat count and took some of the pressure off those by-elections when an unexpected MP, Marilyn Gladue, crossed the floor. Over her 10 years as MP, Gladue was known as a social conservative and a strong supporter of her former party. Earlier, I spoke to Government House Leader Stephen McKinnon about how the latest Liberal MP fits into the party and how a potential majority could change the political landscape. Minister McKinnon, nice of you to join us from Montreal. Appreciate it.
It's so great to be with you.
So your party gained another new MP this week with Marilyn Gladue. She's known for being pretty right-leaning with social conservative views. I'll just give some examples for people who don't know her. She opposed the legalization of cannabis. She was going to allow private member bills to restrict abortion. Tell me how those views fit into the Liberal Party that you belong to.
Well, the Liberal Party that I've spent my life serving is the party that wants equality for women, obviously, women's right to choose. Has always stood for human rights. That's the party that is a home for anyone who chooses to join it and to adhere to those values, as well as the platform that we ran on and the leadership of Mr. Carney. And I have absolutely no doubt that Ms. Gladue, who we welcome to our group, who we welcome to the Liberal Party of Canada, is going to be a very, very strong
Fix that goddamn audio, CBC.
It is, I think you would recognize, as a longtime politician, it might be hard for Canadians to wrap their heads around that, how a person could have some of those beliefs and values and then decide in conversations that she's willing to accept what you call liberal values going forward.
Well, look, Ms. Gladue is also known, I think you're selling her a bit short. She's also known for reaching across the aisle. She's managed to pass 2 private members' bills as an opposition member of Parliament. She has a long business career. Is actually quite well liked by colleagues from all sides of the House. She should not be reduced to a caricature of one moment or another. She is a very, very productive member of Parliament from a very, very important part of our country, Sarnia Lambton, and we're very, very keen to have her and her talents added to our group.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that she's very likable and that she wants to work across the aisle. What I'm saying is that she has previously, and not very long ago, held views that are diametrically the opposite of what your party represents. And she's now putting those views aside because she wants to be part of the government, I guess.
Well, the Liberal Party is a party of principle, but here's the thing, Rosemary, and you and I have discussed this before. Canadians who live in conservative ridings are looking at their Member of Parliament and saying, what are you doing to be part of the solution? Canada, like many places around the world, we look at world events, we look at...
Smash the like, hit subscribe. We work really hard at this stuff. Let's get back to the video.
Major changes going on in this world. They see Mr. Carney with a strategy, the right strategy for Canada, and they look at those members of Parliament and say, what are you doing to be a productive member of Parliament and be part of the solution? And that is a very, very appealing thing to many people who live in Conservative ridings, including some of the MPs for those ridings. Then they look at the alternative, Mr. Poilievre, and see someone who likes to reduce very serious issues to sound bites. Seems to have a lot of difficulty getting his party behind him, and by that I mean his parliamentary caucus behind him in terms of some of the strategies and communications that he undertakes, and that's been a source of frustration for many Conservative members of Parliament. I don't think those are deniable things, and we're, for our part, going to continue on the path and on the strategy that Mr. Carney has laid out, building Canada strong. You saw us announce a major port expansion in Montreal last week. We are going to continue with those kinds of things, and I think Canadians are responding to Mr. Carney's plans and policies in very positive ways.
I certainly understand that the context you're talking
We're getting steamrolled here, guys.
about, and Canadians do as well. But the role of the official opposition is awfully important as well, I would argue, inside the House of Commons, to make sure that the government is committed to following through on the things that it promised, or to try to improve legislation. So, I mean, it sounds to me like you're sort of downplaying the role of Conservatives in some ways. The Conservatives have an important role to play as well. Yeah.
Of course they do, absolutely, and many people are looking at this opposition, which has spent a lot of time, it must be said, obstructing committees and engaging in reducing issues to caricature rather than debating seriously on the issues of the day. This is up to them to manage, but the role of the official opposition and all opposition in the House of Commons is, particularly in a minority parliament, is absolutely essential. I think people are frustrated with how that effort has been led on their side of the House.
Okay, well, you mentioned a minority parliament. Technically, as you know, you have a majority, but of course these three by-elections on Monday will solidify things one way or another. What would that change, do you think, for, I mean, I know it would change practically, but in terms of how you get the agenda through the House of Commons, how would that change how you would do your job if you had the majority?
Well, Canadians sent a parliament back after the last election, Rosemary, that was very close to a Liberal majority. One or two seats on either side, I don't think will change our duty to be unifiers, our duty to reach across the aisle of the House of Commons, to work with other parties on solutions. We've found some success at that in the last few weeks. We've passed the Budget Implementation Act, as you know, some other important legislation, including crime legislation. So we've made a lot of progress. We'll continue that impulse of working across party lines. We think the times require and demand that we work with other parties on these solutions. We want to be a unifying government. We want to bring solutions that Canadians from all walks of life, from all regions, can adhere to. So I don't think anything about Monday changes that.
I'll just end on this. We have reported there's as many as 9 other MPs who are in some sort of level of conversation about joining the Liberal Party. Should we expect more people? Do you think those conversations continue?
I'm not going to speculate on any of that. I certainly can't confirm that kind of speculation. What I can say is that there are, as I just described, people who look longingly across the aisle of the House of Commons, see a party, a Liberal Party, a Prime Minister engaged in very, very important policies for a very, very serious moment. And there is some dissatisfaction on that side of the House. I don't think that's any secret, but we're going to continue doing what we do and building Canada strong.
Government House Leader Stephen McKinnon, thank you for your time, sir.
All right, guys.
Canada's broken, and Canada's broken because we're stupid. Okay? Canada's broken because we're stupid.
Aaron, Kennedy, and Looney, like, share, subscribe. Like, Stephen McKinnon gives me the creeps. Like, and Rosie looks very hungover right there. Anyhow, we'll stick a fork in it right there, gang. Aaron, Canadian Looney, Steve McKinnon is a jackass, I think. Let me know in the comments your opinion. I'm curious to know, like, how can you watch that guy and not get creeped out? Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now. Smash the like, hit subscribe, Canadian Looney. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. Ooh, Rosie. It's all made up.